Hello, and welcome to episode number 454 of the Armin Show podcast, learning about science, people, creativity, always expanding our framework, connecting back to past material. The web of knowledge and understanding keeps getting more expansive. On this one here, how cool is this? We have someone in the scientific field. We can describe it that way. And we have someone who's also an author and provides product, something like that I have recently gotten from a pharmacy, a medication, if you will. And we have our guest today, Dr. Nayan Patel, pharmacist, author, and a wide variety of things. Nayan, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me here today.
I'm glad to have you on. We will be talking about hormones. We'll be talking about glutathione. We'll be talking about the pharmaceutical world. Before we get into how I would look at it, how would you describe the path that took you to where you are today?
The path is pretty treacherous, but the thing is, it's something that you sometimes it's out of your control, and you just let it come to you because you don't want to create your own path. When the path comes to in front of you, you just keep on moving forward. That's what happened to me after going from pharmacy school in Southern California. I quickly realized that medications are not going to solve anybody's problems for the rest of my life. And that was pretty rude awakening. I just graduated with one of the top schools in the nation, and I've been told that I can do whatever I want to do. And yet, as a graduate, the answer is no, you cannot do what you want to do. You're just going to manage people's problems for the rest of their lives. You're not going to solve any problems. And so when that happened to me, I said, "Whoa, we got to do something different. I have bills to pay. I got things to do. So I went in the back in the rat race of start doing medications and things like that, but quickly realized that there's a better, different path out there. So I didn't go too far away from my main path. I started doing compounding and started doing some customized medications, and by doing so, it led me to a whole new journey because the people that are out there said, "Oh my God, you can do all those things. What if can you make something so that it will stop my aging process, and can you do something that can increase longevity, can you do something that can get all the disease go away, or it never happens in the first place, things like that." So people that have the means and the resources came to me and said, "Hey, can you do something like this?" And so my path has keep on evolving and change over the years, and today we are sitting in front of you talking about this thing. It sounds kind of did I make the decision back 25, 30 years ago that I want to do a different path? Was it rewarding enough? Not financially for sure, but it is absolutely one of the best things that happened to me because I didn't choose what was easy. I choose what people are looking for. And what people are looking for is always a difficult path because nobody's done it before.
This is a very important point you're bringing up. These things are very key to me, the important points in life where you decide, oh, okay, do I actually want to just treat what is, or maybe I can prevent it before it is, or not just manage something forever, but have it be better for a long life. And then if you don't have that response, you might be another person right now that's just keeping things running for somebody, but because you felt a different way, you wanted to have a solution to issues. And that happens at that key point, and then it can only branch off from there. I think that's these are important points in our life where we decide easier but long time, but not so valuable maybe, or harder, but I have to adjust along the way, a lot of effort. We have to make these decisions along the way. They're pretty hefty.
And yes, the decisions shapes the future, but early on decisions really helps you define your purpose in life, and that's what happened to me. Is I got to change things, and I have to be the beacon of change because otherwise, it's like if I just keep on following what all my classmates were doing, I'll be in the rut even today's date, not in front of you, but just doing some medications. I don't know what pharmacy, what hospitals, what setting, and I'll be miserable like my friends are.
It's important. Sometimes we're thinking long term, there's medium term, there's short term. The best way to go is long term because we're going to be here for a while and might as well
Yes.
make those bigger picture decisions. They're not actually so difficult. I guess that's kind of a message I'm saying there. They're not so difficult because we're going to be here for a while. The other ones are almost like assuming you're only going to be here for a short bit. Then I guess they make sense for like a year or 2 years or something, but not so
True.
much for a lifetime. It's fair.
That's true.
Now, you're a pharmacist. You're also an author. Why pharmaceutical work? Why not some other category? Did something speak to you about health? People, do you want to see people be healthier? Did you see that, like, oh, there's more ways to respond to things than are currently available? Why motivated in that category?
So again, the category was not chosen by me. It's what called for it. When I was doubling the pharmacy world, making medications and changing lives to the betterment of the patients in terms of disease management, but at the same time, it was not very fulfilling. It was I was creating medications, customizing drug therapies, and things like that, but it was not like earth shattering because people did not want to change. Uh, as much as they want to do certain things, they don't want to give up their conveniences, right? If I tell them, "Hey, stop drinking alcohol," I say, "Well, I don't drink that much." I said, "What is that much is? You know, the body was not designed to have toxic chemicals put in your body every single day and assume that it's going to be healthy, and so it was not going to change anything." And so thank God for all those billionaire clients that I have, or all the high achievers that I have, that says, "Hey, I'll do whatever you tell me to do, but give me something that can stop my aging process." And I said, "Well, there are no medications like that available, so I keep on going back into what our body does. How does the body respond to it?" And it's like everything that I started looking into it, everything led to me to one molecule called glutathione. That was it. I said, well, if we have known for 140 plus years about this molecule, but yet I thought everybody had already done it because it's such an important molecule. So somebody's already done the work on it 4 years ago, and come to know that no, nobody's done any work on it, because even though we know about how good it is, but nobody had technology to actually deliver those molecules inside your body. And so we never got the results we were expecting to get. And so I said, okay, well, that's a good side project. I can't even make it my only project because I have still bills to pay. And so I said, okay, I'll start working on the side every single day. And so I recruited one of my PhD pharmacist friend out of the USC School of Medicine. I said, hey, quit your job and come work with me. And he goes, no. I said, no, that's the first answer I'm going to get. No, of course not. I'm not going to quit my job. I said, can you please do that? I got plenty of money and you never worry about it. You know, like every entrepreneur will tell you that. I got plenty of money. And when you look at the bank account, it's zero, right? But that's okay. I somehow recruited him about a year and a half later. He joined the firm with me and we started doing research on glutathione. And it wasn't until like 7 or 8 years later when we found out a technology. And then when we figured out that portion out, and so how to deliver inside your body, and so the profound impact on your health and wellness, I said no medication is ever going to match this thing ever, no medication. And so I had to pivot completely and see, okay, if I go treat this as the fountain of life, what does that look like to me? And so I spent the next 14, 15 years of my life researching this molecule, trying to figure out how much to give you, how often to give you, what kind of results I'm going to get. Do I need to have medications with it? Can I get off people off of all the medications and supplements and whatever else they're doing? If I get healthier, is the body going to respond positively? All those things I started looking at, and I started paying very close attention to every single details. And that's my book is. The book is my journey of what I saw in the first 12 to 13 years of my life when I started giving this product to my patients and doctors and things like that. And so today we're talking about this thing today because I think personally that if we can just enhance our own bodies, all this molecules of our body already has it, we won't need any drug whatsoever in the whole life.
Now, so glutathione, specifics of it, how does it function? How would the average person use it? How is it related to our usual biology? Do we naturally produce it? Is it added to what we already make? What are some of the specifics there?
So absolutely. So our body naturally produces that all day long. I don't care if you're a 5-year-old or a 105-year-old. Our body will produce enough glutathione for the rest of our lives. Unfortunately, our needs are staying constant. It does not go down, and I'm hoping it does not go up either. But most of the time, it stays kind of in the constant range. But our body's ability to produce glutathione will dip slightly around about age 30-ish, and the slight dip in the production increases our toxic load in our body. And then as the years goes by, the less production and the increasing toxic load starts getting wider and wider. The gap gets wider and wider, and eventually can lead to early onset diseases, early onset issues, conditions, irregular blood levels, irregular scans, and things like that. And those goes unchecked can eventually lead to diseases which are irreversible. So being said that, glutathione is produced naturally in our body. You can enhance your own production by making sure the diet consists of the three amino acids that is used to produce glutathione. And if you have those, your body can try and produce as much as possible. So the second part is that also reduce the consumption of glutathione. And so before I say that part, I want to say what the glutathione actually does for us. Two things it does most abundantly is that it neutralizes all the free radicals that you are either producing naturally or you're consuming from outside sources. One of the free radicals is oxygen. Now, I'm not telling you to stop breathing because you'll die in a couple of minutes, right? So that's not the point. The point is when you breathe oxygen, all the excess oxygen, if it doesn't get neutralized by your body, it can produce this oxygen species that are reactive. And so that oxygen species have to be neutralized, and the neutralization chemical or molecule is glutathione. That's one thing. The second part is it helps liver conjugate and literally remove all the chemicals and heavy metals outside your body. And so these two processes is the number one job for your body. That's why the body produces abundantly, the most molecule produced in human body is glutathione, because it's two things: neutralize all the free radicals that you produce every single second of your life, and detoxify your liver and other organs of all the chemicals that we're exposed to, or the byproducts of all the chemical reactions that happens in the body. If those two functions are somehow disrupted or not happening correctly, imagine your body just from inside feeling all this toxic load, right? And if it happens earlier in your life, like if it's a 5-year-old kid, these kids have all kinds of disorders. The most common thing that people see is a spectrum disorder, autism or Asperger's or somewhere in between. They have ADHD issues. I mean, there's so many different issues, and we can label all these disease states that are there, but it's very hard to diagnose where they came from. And I'm not saying that glutathione is the answer for any or all of those things. I'm just saying that first thing you got to do is see if the body is actually cleaning from inside first of all, right? If that's doing it, then it will have a secondary impact on all these disease states. So anyway, so in a nutshell, that's what glutathione is pretty much.
Now, after you said after 30, it starts to drop off. What causes that kind of drop off? Is that does that coincide with other things dropping off at the same time as well?
The thing is, to produce glutathione, you need three amino acids, which is the glycine, glutamine, cysteine. I don't want to go too technical. It needs two enzymes and two molecules of ATP, which is the mitochondrial energy. So if you think about it, at the age of 30, just imagine a 30-year-old person. For the very first time, having a little bit less energy, more fatigue, and you're either blaming your new job or you just had some major expenses that came in, or you just got married, or now you have a new girlfriend, or whatever, right? Or maybe you have a kid by this age. And so people blame external circumstances for having low energy, right? But the mitochondrial energy is dropping for the very first time. That's one of the building blocks that we need to produce more glutathione, right? And so even though you may be consuming the right fruits and vegetables to get the cysteine molecule inside your body, if you don't have enough energy, you cannot produce glutathione. The second part is that all of a sudden, all your bad behaviors are catching it. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's drinking alcohol, but alcohol is one of those most toxic chemicals that we produce that depletes the glutathione levels for the next 4 hours. Even one drink of alcohol can wipe off your glutathione levels for the next 4 hours. And that will eventually catch up to you, right? When you're 21, you can drink like a fish and you get up the next morning like nothing ever happened to you, right? And you get this every weekend after weekend after weekend, no problem. All of a sudden, when you're 30, I said, oh, you know what? I can't handle it anymore, right? I have some of my family members, even at the age of 27, 28, say, yeah, you know what? No, I'm going to skip on this alcohol this weekend because last weekend I had some alcohol and I didn't feel good after that. And so what's happening is that this thing is accumulating over time. And by the age of 30, unfortunately, it's a tipping point, right? Now, some people tip at the age of 25, and some people tip at the age of 40. But I'm just telling you, on an average, about 30 is the number that we are seeing that people may need some help at that point.
I like that you brought up the point that alcohol, even one drink, depletes that for 4 hours. I would like if there was more public representation of when people consume certain things or do certain activities. These are the 48 effects on your body for the next 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. And if they saw all of them, they might look and say, oh, I'm like competing against like a avalanche of making my life more difficult. Because when it's all put into one thing, like, oh, just have to get over it, or I'll just be rested by the next day. Maybe people don't realize the hit that they are taking, as if they rubbing alcohol or some sort of actual poison, then they would be more cautious. But if the actual detail, oh, this, and you're not going to have energy, and your ATP won't produce as much, and you will be fatigued, and you'll have 25% less cognitive capacity, they might think, oh, I'm taking this huge hit. This is much larger than just, I better rest it off kind of thing.
It is, and it's you can scare people off, but if it doesn't get registered in your brain that this is not going to happen to me, then nothing's going to happen to you, right? People that smoke cigarettes, they know the lungs are going to get black tarry things in there, and eventually 20, 30 years from today, you're going to get lung cancer. But it's not happening today. And they think that they'll beat it, right? Or they can quit anytime they want to quit. Or it says, hey, I'm just enjoying life right now, but when the time comes, I'll quit again, right? And the thing is, if it doesn't happen today, people are not going to feel it. With alcohol, if you drink too much, you're going to feel the next morning the headache, right? Even then, by the next weekend, you'll forget about it. Well, I'll just drink a little bit less and I'll be okay, right? And so there's not enough pain for them to change. And by just mentioning all those things, sometimes it's not enough for them, right? But if something happens that, hey, if you don't drink alcohol today, you could die tomorrow morning, right? Then, oh my God, I'll stop immediately and I'll never touch it again. But since it's a slow death, people says, I think I can beat it, right? And so you're right. Information is power, but the information is only powerful if people comprehend and that they believe that all the things that says on that list is going to happen to me. If we think that, hey, they just mention all these things, but I know myself better, it's not going to happen to me, right? Then nothing's changing, unfortunately.
It's a good way to describe it. I like that description. It's true. Yeah. When I have not drank alcohol, but even before I would have thought to not drink it, I saw, okay, wait a minute. It seems like this is going to take energy away from me to work through it. It's like, I don't see people just hitting themselves over the head with the bat, and they would say, oh, that's a terrible idea. I'm hitting myself in the head with the bat. It's like obvious, I guess, because immediate pain and like there's some sort of bruise. This one is apparently it's internal, so you don't see it. But I thought, okay, it's not like you drink it and then an hour later you're energized or something. So True. It's good to have, yes, what you said here. It has to be processed within the mind. And then if it's not, then it's just bypassed here. So then in relation to that, how can that be applied to glutathione? How can the average person see it as something that is worth looking at, such that they can see its value versus, oh, We already produce it early on, and I guess it just drops off in life, and we just drop off in life. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
anti-aging is going up, and I like that you're bringing it up because it's becoming much more of a thing.
Well, the thing is, longevity medicine is picking up steam right now, and the main reason for that is because uh, people have people have so much thing to live for now, right? People have money, people have means, people are enjoying life. On an average, most people are enjoying life, right? If you think about 20, 25, 30 years ago, people didn't have cell phones, people didn't have people that didn't have luxuries to travel the world. And today we have all the small things that we take for granted for 35, 40 years ago is available to us in the fingertips. And the costs have come down so much dramatically that we can enjoy all these pleasures in life. And so people want to do these things for the rest of their life. And so the longevity medicine is picking up steam right now. But the thing is, I can tell you one thing about the human body. We take human body for granted. And the reason I say this all the time is because our body was designed so meticulously and so perfect that we throw garbage in our body, and the body says, "Okay, I don't like it, but you know what? I'll process it. I'll get rid of it, and I'll bring you back to normalcy." But the thing is, if it's a once in a while, the body says, "I got this. Don't worry about it." You know what? Everybody falls off the wagon once in a while. Not a big deal. But if it becomes a routine, like every Friday night, I'm going to fall off the wagon every Friday night, then the body goes eventually says, "Hey, you know what? I can do this for a couple of years, 2, 3 years, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, but eventually I'm going to break." And that's what happens. But when the body breaks, your habits do not break. Your habit gets ingrained into your mind that this is who I am, this is my identity, this is what I do. What do you mean I cannot do this anymore? Well, I'm getting older. But the thing is, well, don't you have some pills that can fix this problem for me? I said, no, the body gave you all these clues early on in your life and you misbehaved. And so now there's no drugs that's going to solve this problem. So when it comes to glutathione, the question you asked me about glutathione, what does it do for you? It's not what the glutathione does for you is more important. But what's more important is what is glutathione allowing your body to do for itself? It is more important. And I'll give you a simple example. If you look at a mom, right? Mom has kids, has pets, has a husband to take care of it, has a job, has a house. A mom never sits still in the house, right? I look at my wife and oh my God, that lady is absolutely a superwoman, right? She is crazy, right? She feeds all of us. She takes care of the whole house. She has a job. She helps me in the business, and she does all those things. She drops off the kids and takes care of my dog, and oh my God, and the planning of the house and planning the vacations and fun activities. And the thing is, I look at this thing and said, what if the number one job for my wife is to make sure that the kids are taken care of it? What if I take away the job from her and either I do it myself or I get somebody else to do all that work for her? The same way that she would have done it. Then she has a lot of free times. And if you have free time, do you think she's going to watch soap operas and watch TVs all day long? No. Guess what she's going to do? She's going to become more efficient at everything else you do. Your life will be immensely fulfilling because now you'll have the most amazing vacation. You have the most amazing dinners and every day that the whole family can enjoy, and the house is going to be absolutely just beautiful. It's not that it's not beautiful right now, but you know what? She's not going to sit home and just do nothing. And that's what the body is. The body is functioning at all times, trying to bring back to homeostasis, trying to revive, rejuvenate, regenerate new cells, every single thing, right? But if the number one job for your body is to neutralize free radicals and to detoxify your liver and get rid of all the junks out of your system and dump it out of your body all day, either via kidneys or via intestines, it doesn't really matter how you get rid of it. If that's the number one job for the body, and if glutathione takes care of that thing, oh my God, the body says, the rest of the diseases, rest of the conditions, I will handle that part. Now, glutathione is not doing all that work. Glutathione is still doing something that is designed to do is just to neutralize free radicals and conjugate and detoxify your liver and your kidneys and things like that. but it's allowing the body to just absolutely go berserk and heal itself from inside out. And to me, that is more profound than any drug or any material that we does for us. Because our human brain, we are conditioned to think that, hey, if I take this product, what does the product do for you? We never tell you what the product is allowing somebody else to do something for you. That's what glutathione is. It is profound by itself, but it is so much profound by allowing the body to go back and heal itself.
I like the way you describe it. There's a depth to it that is very valuable. It's something I've thought of in life in the bigger picture, that when there's someone that's doing 8 things very well or 4 things very well, if somehow you took care of one of them or made their space have more breathing room, they would probably do even another great thing because they're already in that path. They would add on to it. And that's what expansion would be like. Versus also if somebody was doing 8 not great things, whether we replaced one or not, we're not changing too much. But when there's a lot of good happening, like the body does so much that people do not take into account, it does this. And then when one thing goes off, oh, darn, I have this condition. What about the 45,000 other things that are being handled? Well, that's not what I'm looking at. It's kind of like the internet. When there's like 1,000 positive comments and 1 negative comment, the average person really pays attention to that negative comment, even though a lot was going supportively. So that's a very important point you brought up there. And then I like that you brought up that glutathione isn't the one directly causing some sort of activity in the body, but the body is doing work, and then it needs the right settings and tools to get to do that properly, or else it's having to fight off something before it can get to that, and then it can't get to that because it doesn't have the energy to get there. It's not that different from us. Like in the morning, if we had a plan and then something came up, we couldn't do that plan, and then it has to be really rescheduled in a way.
True. And so that's why glutathione is so important, because no matter who you are, right, you can always free up your body to do the work for you. Because no drugs, I can tell you that right now, I have a 3,000 plus medication in my pharmacy right now, right? None is going to get rid of your problem. It may get rid of your symptoms, but not the problem. And there's a big difference. The only person that gets rid of your problem is your own human body. And you got to free up the human body to basically self-heal itself.
That's actually, it makes me want to think of like a challenge question. This is a challenge question of sorts. As a pharmacist, what drug or drugs, if there was like 2 or 3, come to mind that would be the closest to that, where the person actually comes in, it's prescribed, and then they are like quickly back to normal or even better off? Is there such a thing where it's like you?
So yeah, if you think about longevity medicine, the only drug that ever increased lifespan beyond a decade, only drug that's increased lifespan beyond a decade is penicillin, right? Plus 100 plus like 80, 90 years ago, because everybody was dying off of infection, right? And from that penicillin came what? All sanitary conditions. Everything is sanitary now, right? Oh, you got to spray the surfaces, or you got to wear gloves before your surgeries, and wear a mask. And the sanitary conditions, the whole movement started because what? Because people are dying off of bugs. So when penicillin was invented, guess what? People started living a lot more, not because the penicillin was increasing lifespan, because penicillin stopped killing people because of infections. Even though it was a short-term treatment, 5 or 10-day treatment, it was enough for people to survive, to live another day, to fight another war, right? Now, if you think about antibiotics, does antibiotics kills all the bugs? The answer is no. They don't. All it does, it reduces the load of the bacteria in the virus or the fungus in your body, and then all it does, it just allows the body to take over your own immune system, take over it. I say, I got this from here. Now I can get this under control, right? So without that help of antibiotics, their body will never be able to get under control. Or somehow you build up an immune system so much higher that no antibiotics can ever touch it, and then you'll get it under control anyways. But if you have infections, there are only two choices you've got: take antibiotics, drop the bacterial load, and let your body take over it, or take something that can build up immune system to a point where it can take over the whole the infection that you already have, right? Or do both. So when you say what comes close to healing the issues, I would say antibiotics would be a good choice. But personally, if I had a choice to take antibiotics, I would not take it in a million years, right? I will do whatever it takes to, first of all, not to get infected. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure my immune system always activated is high enough. That means I'm not doing any toxic load. If my immune system is high enough, then I've never had to worry about it. Like in the last 15 years or so, I can't even remember a flu or an infection that put me down for more than 24 hours, right? And so the thing is, I always stay on a high note at all times. So even if I have young kids, so of course they're gonna catch all kinds of bugs from the school, and they come home and they give it to me, and they'll put me down for maybe half a day or maximum one day. But the next day I'm back to work, right? And so yes, it's possible. I've not taken antibiotics in the last. Actually, that's not true. I did take an antibiotic for last year because I had a little abscess because my body had formed an abscess, so that means nothing can go to it. So it drained the abscess out, and they put me on a 2-day antibiotic just so that it doesn't get infected with the rest of the part of the body. But the body kind of sequestered the whole thing so that it doesn't spread to the whole body. So that's still a positive thing. But that's the only time I took an antibiotic, but in the last 15 years.
I like the specificity there. Also, in a bigger picture, I like people that represent specificity. It's a big thing for life. And the message you brought up, this is very key, to not think of things as a ... very like staccato piano, but it's more legato. Life is, okay, maybe if the load is, that's you, and then, as your immune system, let's say, is getting weaker and weaker because you're putting too much load on it, the thing was, bugs or such were already here, and then, they overtook it because you're already in the lowered state, but you've been causing this. But if you're up here and they show up, no chance, it's like it's not just an immediate, I got overtaken, but you already have a great defense here. By the time you actually get heavily sick on a regular basis, that's probably a sign of other items that are not well managed in the first place, such that an average bacteria or something can overtake your system.
So Arman, what you're trying to say, let me give you another example.
Yeah.
When you were a young kid, I used to play Seesaw, right? To play Seesaw, you have two people, right? If they both equal weights, what happens? Nobody's going up and down, right? Because it just stays there, right? Somebody has to be bigger, somebody has to be smaller, right? For it to keep on going up and down. So the body is always a perfect balance, right? If it's a perfect balance, like a seesaw. Now, if a disease happened, and so what happens is that now you have more load on one side of the body, guess what happens? That's how the body will go down. But the other side goes up, right? What goes up is supposed to be your immune system needs to go up, right? And so it will get rid of the infection. When the infection goes away, it comes back down again. So here's the thing, right? When something is off, we have two options. One, if it's one side is up, you can add more weight to that side. If you add more weight, it'll come back down again. And that's what the whole modern medicine is all about. Whatever's out of range, how can I fix this? This is not supposed to be there. Can I give you more products to bring this thing down so you go back to balance? But sometimes it is so much better just to take weight off of here and it goes back to balance again, right? So less is more. Our brain does not go, hey, what do I have to take away instead of what do I have to take to get this problem go away? If we can do both, oh my God, right? Because otherwise what happens is that if you put something over here, It goes down. You always overshoot yourself because less is good, the more is better. And when that happens, guess what? You put over here again on the left hand side, you go back down again and up and down and up and down. And by the time you're doing these things, you're up on 30 to 40 different vitamins a day. And you're doing this therapy and that therapy and this juice and that juice, and you have so much things going in life, and it goes, oh my God, how did I get here in the first place?
I really like the symbolism. I would add to it too that this right here should be light, and this is a representation of our well-being. And if it gets too heavy, it's not good. So like, there's a problem, and then let's say overweight, and then we'll use Ozempic, but Ozempic has the side effects, so we better use this. And then okay, but that's this, so and it's putting more and more pressure on this, which is our being, and you're not supposed to have like 40 different items starting to put more and more pressure, and that's when it's almost like your being is crushed, I think. So
Exactly.
we wouldn't do that with like a house. We wouldn't do that if one side was starting to get heavier because water was on that. You wouldn't pour more water on the other side of the house to balance it. Now your house is covered with like the weight of water. At some point, they'll start
Yeah.
tumbling down.
Take the water out. Yeah.
These metaphors are very important because that's the way I think through things. So it's the other, yeah, that's the only way that works is you tackle the thing. If you can't tackle the thing, I guess that it's okay for the person to say, I can't tackle the thing, but at least you are going at the right category versus band-aid, band-aid, bandage, 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 and then now you're covered with bandages. Yes. Now,
all the skin's gone and only a bandage everywhere. Yeah.
what's happened here? Now, one thing in relation is hormones and hormone therapy. Is glutathione related to hormone therapy? Does it affect our hormones? We don't talk about hormones enough. Can you tell us a bit about that category?
Yeah, the thing is, as a pharmacist, I get a lot of customers that have disrupted endocrine system, even though it has nothing to do with glutathione itself. But the endocrine system is built up. If you look at the whole endocrine system, it's a pyramid type issue. Where the bottom of the pyramid, which is the bulk of the problems, is stress management, cortisol, adrenal gland stress management. That's a 40% of the problems right there. The right above the stress management, 30% of the problem or the solution. I look at the problem, I look at the solution. 40% of the solution is stress management. The next 30% of the solution is insulin or diet management. And so 70% of the total solution for the whole endocrine problem is under your hands to manage your stressors or the stress-related issues and diet, insulin, right? If those two things are properly balanced, the next 20% is thyroid, which most endocrinologists spend their time addressing thyroid issues and why thyroids are out of range and things like that. So there's some prescriptions required. And people that come to us, to me particularly, is for the 10% of the solution, which is the sex hormones, right? Hormone replacement therapy. I said, yes, but the thing is, if you think about it, if somebody comes to me as having hot flashes, night sweats, decreasing libido, anxiety, mood swings, depressions, and about to kill themselves, and I tell them, oh, get rid of your stressors. It's easier said than done. He or she is not going to look at me and say, well, if I have a gun, I'll shoot you first because for saying such a stupid thing like this, right? And so what I do is I help address the hormones first. And once the brain calms down and receptive to other ideas, I teach them about all the other components, right? And so there are two types of stressors. The one stressors is its adrenal stressors or the cortisol stressors, which is man-made stressors, finances or heat, or something like a boss tells you something, or your spouse tells you something, or there's all this somatic stresses that comes in. It affects your adrenal glands. And the second part is the oxidative stressors. Oxidative stress is the pollutions, the chemicals, the free radicals. And so for the treatment for those is glutathione. Treatment for the psychosomatic stressors is to address them mentally, right? And so even though they don't have direct correlation, they have some sort of symbiotic relationship between glutathione and the hormones, because at the end of the day, the stress has to come down. Doesn't matter if it's psychosomatic stressors or the oxidative stress has to come down. When those comes down, your nutrition sensing gets better. So whatever foods you're eating, the body accepts it better and produces vitamins and nutrients and amino acids that needs to build the body properly, right? And so they work hand in hand, but it's a different silo. Hormones is one silo, gluten is a different silo. And I spend a lot of times on teaching and helping doctors design a plan of action on how to get the control of the body first, and then go back and address the stress, the diet, and the thyroids next.
I like this concept here because there's something good about it in my head that the psychosomatic stressors and effects are not able to be responded to with drugs and biochemical means, because that's good. That means, because if something is a person related or life related thing, if someone used some sort of medication to handle that, this is just going to get more extreme and more extreme and more extreme. But like this is not a within the body to handle. This is outside with people or relations to handle. It would get worse and worse and worse until the person might just combust or something. So I think that it's good that there's the response for up here is dealing with other people's up here and managing that, and then the response for internal pathways is something that could help it along, but the body is the one that is the base of that. So it's like they're well segmented and separated from each other.
It is. And Armand, this is the perfect example for the Seesaw example again, right? When your body's under stress, what happens? Initially, it'll produce more cortisol, more steroids in the body, right? Eventually, the body says, uh-oh, this is too much far gone. I cannot, the body will not survive with too much steroids in the body. So eventually, the body kicks in, the negative feedback kicks into your brain. The brain senses, okay, this is too much of problems over here. Stop the production of cortisol. The cortisol level will drop in your body. And so when you go to the doctor's offices, you see the stressors, you see a low cortisol level, and the doctors, what they're going to prescribe you? More cortisol, right? The body already knew this was bad news for you. It stopped in its own self. But then we human beings thought, oh no, the body does not know what the hell it's doing. I know what to do. I'm going to give you more cortisol, more corticosteroids. And so I fill in the pharmacy a whole bunch of corticosteroid prescriptions all day long is because guess what? I can't get rid of the stressors, so I'm going to give you more steroids. Oh, that to me is just boils the heck out of me because it's like the people don't want to change. And assuming the medications are going to be there to help them. And in reality, the medications are just going to get you in trouble faster than your human body can.
Made me think of if there's two people, somehow they're arguing, they're using their voice a lot, and then one of them says, okay, I need a break, so I will take a rest and not argue. That would be like less communication than normal because they need a rest. In this case, if there was a professional responding to it, they'd be like, okay, no, this person's not talking enough. We're forcing you to talk more because we have to bring your balance up to this level. But they're like, I was taking a break. So now they're talking. Now they get more angry. Then they get more angry. You would never do that. The whole point was I need to take a 10-minute rest and be less communicative than normal. And then I'll come back to my point of homeostasis. But if you don't let it get to that point, you're forcing something out of range. And of course, that's not going to work. It's like you're countering the body's own responses, and that's not going to be a solution in some way.
So long story short, our body's designed perfectly. Work with our body, listen to the body, see what it needs, see what it does not need, and either the first thing, whenever you do medicine, the first thing you gotta do is figure out what is your body telling you. Does it tell you that you have too much of something that you have to get rid of it? Or is it telling you that, hey, give me more of this molecule because I don't have enough of it? And the answers most of the time is, guess what? If it's not nutrition related, it's you have something, too much of something coming to your body. The body says, if you can just stop that, you can go back to homeostasis again. Right? So less is more.
Less is, especially in the current moment, less is much more. There's a lot of people that the most successful people right now are going less in many different categories just to maintain their well-being and stuff. In the category of what you have looked into, glutathione, and putting it out there for the people, has there been support? Has there been pushback? What has been your thoughts on how it was your material has been received in the public?
So that's a great question, because it's not, I don't look at people's opinion to a point where it drives what I'm going to say, what I'm not going to say. But I do look at see how people are responding to my information, and like whatever I do, and the history, I can only go back from the history what I've done so far. What I've done in the past is pretty much irrefutable in terms of the way I represent myself, the way I talk about my information, because I'm not going to say something that I have not tested, right? So the glutathione was discovered back in 2007. And for 14 years, I did not release a product to the people, because guess what? I myself was not comfortable until I learned a lot of different things about it. And very early on, I learned that it was such an amazing way to improve the glutathione levels that the body would start healing by itself. But I still do not have all the answers, right? How much to give, how often to give, how long can I give it to you? Am I going to get results? Am I going to get results indefinitely? Can I give it for 10 years in a row and still have no problems? I had too many questions, not enough answers, right? And the best thing that I could have done at that time, and I could be a millionaire, multimillionaire today, is release the product and hire a bunch of influencers and TikTokers and a whole bunch of people and say, hey, this is the most amazing thing next to sliced cheese, and start taking this product all day long. And I would have further away from my mission of bringing safety and efficacy to my people first, right? And so that's what I did. So history says that I waited for 14 years plus before I launched the product to the public, right? Before that, hormone replacement therapy. I was doing hormone. I was working at a compounding pharmacy since 1993, and it wasn't until 2004 when the WHI study came out, 2003, 4, something like that. The study came out saying that, hey, all hormones, synthetic hormones, are bad for you. That's when I really started marketing and talking to consumers and practitioners. Is that, hey, it's not that the hormones are bad for you. It's how you prescribe them is bad for you, right? If you're going to take a particular hormone that the body does not produce it, then the body says, well, I need hormones, but you're giving something that looks like hormones, but it's not really hormones. And I'm not sure what to do with this thing. And that's what the problem was. And even then, the body says, even though I do not know what to do with it, I'm assuming that it's going to be not so bad for me, so I can still give you. So even the WHI study that was out there, 98% of the people had no problems. But 2% of the people that had major issues from cancers and all kinds of issues, it was enough to create a complete public decry about this hormones are bad for you, right? And so when you're dealing with what our body produces naturally, then the issue's always been, I said, hey, what do we need? Do we need all the hormones? Can I just give you what's missing? Sometimes it's not what's missing. Sometimes it's what is producing too much, and try to figure out why the body is producing so much. And if I can remove that portion out, the body says, okay, now I can go back down to normalcy of the hormone replacement therapy. And so understanding all those intricacies is what I did. And so before I started talking, and my goal was always been to educate the physicians first, because I can go to the patients directly and tell them, hey, buy these hormones from me, and I'll be okay with it. But in reality, even today's date, this is 2025, and even today's date, I work with doctors only. I don't see patients on the side. I don't prescribe medications, even though by license I can do whatever I want to do. I still work with doctors because doctors understand the patient's needs. They understand all the things that have gone in the history, where they are here today, why they're here today. And it's easy for me to ask doctor all the questions and come up with a solution that is going to work for the patients for long term. And so, yes, as much as I would love to sell a product and sell a service to everybody, my focus has always been trying to bring the best products and services in the marketplace and educate people on on the concept about less is more and try to find the root cause analysis so that way we don't get slapped on taking 30 pills a day or 30 doing 30 things and our whole life just goes around trying to stack on the seesaws and break the beam, so to speak, right?
Comes to my mind when you're describing it that there really is, it seems like only two routes. You're either thinking, I would like to resolve the bigger picture issues, or there may be a pharmacist or somebody out there that thinks, okay, I'm gonna not focus too much on the bigger picture issues, and just I will be a pharmacist and just manage these things at this level and just kind of keep it going because that's my job as a pharmacist. Or some other jobs might do the same thing where they might see, oh, there are larger things that are causing, I'm getting a lot of the same issues showing up, and I just move them along, and then the person comes back in 8 months or 2 years. But that's just part of my job, versus the person that takes a bigger risk is not part of the structured way, and then let's try and actually resolve this element of something.
And Harman, don't get me wrong, I still have those people that will not change, right? So 80-90% of my business still people that say, just give me my drugs, I'll be out of here. I said, okay, fine. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm a pharmacist. I can make medications. Come to a pharmacy. I'm in LA County, Orange County. Come over here, California. I'll take care of you. But if you don't listen to me, if you say, hey, I want more than just medication, I want to figure things out, and I'll do whatever it takes. If they're motivated enough to make a change, then I'm interested in helping you, right? So that's my whole purpose. But there are very few people like those. Majority of people says that I'm too busy, I don't have time. Give me my medicines, and I'm out of here. I said, that's okay. We'll do. So we do both.
That's a cool thing. I think you take all the hits in life when you go the other route, but you feel better. But you take from people that are saying, hey, wait, let me just go about my day. Let's do the thing for this week. Then there's the costs of actually researching something, looking into it, communicating with people, having to showcase it, push back. You have to use your energy. You still have to manage your whole existence during the whole time. And then you're trying to add something. People are saying, why would you even add anything? It's been working this way. We've done this for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So why? And then they start to compare because they're thinking, wait a minute, if you're taking a risk and I don't take a risk, that makes me like weaker in life. Like, what you're doing something, I guess I could have done it. Now I feel bad about myself. All these things come together, and then the person that feels it the most is not them. They're just passing it on. You or the risk taker will feel it more so. And that's part of the cost. But then it's outweighed by the benefits of handling something in the bigger picture and not feeling bad. You'll sleep probably more relaxed along the way.
Yep.
Yeah. My last question for you would be, if you had one message to all people about your work, glutathione, health, what would be something you would want to tell all people?
My message, again, I'm a student for life. So I'm going to bring information out to anybody and everybody as soon as I learn certain things. Now, when I learn certain things, sometimes is I don't bring the information out to you correctly because I'm learning myself either. So if I tell something to do, it's something is because I'm already doing myself. I'll never tell you to do something that I don't do it myself. If I tell you to not to drink alcohol, that's because I don't drink alcohol, right? And the things like that. So it's like somebody told me that part. The kids they never do what you tell them to do, but they will do everything they see you do it. So the real power of information is not telling you what to do, is to showing you how it's impacting myself and other people's in their life. And so my message to everybody is that follow me on this journey, right? I want to live past 100 years of age. I want to be healthy at 100 plus years of age. I want to do everything possible that I do today, even at the age of 100 plus. And I will keep on looking for answers to do one thing, is how do I give control back to the human body because body is what I need to trust is going to solve the problems. I cannot solve the problems from outside sources. I have to go back inside and solve the problems. And so my full 100% focus is, what does the body need to fix its own problems? And if I can do that all day long, then I'll probably achieve my goal.
That is a wonderful message, and I like that part about showing the way versus just describing it. Showing the way or showing what can be done, and then other people can follow. That's a good form of leadership and showcasing.
Thank you.
Dr. Nayan Patel, I would like to thank you for having joined on this discussion, providing quite a bit of knowledge about health, wellness, glutathione, and wonderful connection with the metaphors of life that I look at and sharing those with our listeners.
Thank you so much for having me here today. Thank you.
Glad to. And we are out.